Welcome, everyone, to the third episode of the Conspiracy Madness Podcast, which is part of the Madness Podcast network of shows, which can be found at madnesspodcastnetwork.com, or check us out on Twitter at MPN_shows, and on Facebook, MPN shows. All right, like I said, this is the Conspiracy Madness Podcast. We have a couple other episodes already up and online. We are kind of new to this whole podcasting thing, so make sure you check out the first two episodes of Conspiracy Madness, and also check out the sister podcast, which is Technology Madness. We've got 4 episodes up, getting ready to upload a 5th one probably tomorrow, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you are, make sure you give us a like and leave us a comment in your favorite podcasting app. All right, we're going to jump right into today's topic, which I have no idea what it is. And just to get us started, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Chris. I'm one of the co-hosts. And
I'm Jonathan. What's up, everybody?
And Jonathan is the one that has this topic that he's going to share with us. So, Jonathan, kick it off.
All right, so today's topic is actually going to be on the simulation theory.
And that would be what?
The simulation theory proposes that all of reality, including the Earth, the universe, is actually, in fact, an artificial simulation, and it's most likely running in a computer simulation.
So you're talking Matrix?
Yeah, basically.
Can I be Neo?
Yeah, you can be Neo.
All right. Can I do the stopping bullets trick that he does?
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome to do.
That would be. I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, it reminds me of that VR game I've been playing.
Yeah, I'd like to, stop some bullets, do that jumpy thing where he pauses in midair.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty cool. All right, anyway.
All right, so I'm going to start by going into some evidence that actually supports the simulation theory. And basically, if you look at the rate that technology has advanced in the past 50 years, we're most likely going to end up in an artificial simulation if we haven't already.
Well, you do realize that all our technology comes from aliens, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure you knew that. So basically, you're saying, just so I understand and the audience might understand, is that if we're not already in a simulation, we will be.
Yeah, there's like a 99.9% chance that we'll be in a simulation.
So you're saying that we're going to end up like all the old people in Futurama?
Yeah, basically they're going to take our consciousness out of us and put us in a virtual reality that's going to be like indistinguishable from our actual reality. So if we're not aware that we're in it, we won't actually know.
So, right. I understand what you're saying. Like Futurama, where they had all those old people in the simulation farm.
Yep. But basically, if you look like how video games were when you were like little, they were like pixelated. You couldn't really like distinguish.
8-bit.
Yeah, you couldn't like distinguish anything very well.
First video game was Pong on the old Atari system. And all it was 2 paddles and a little ball that bounced back and forth. Then it moved up to 16-bit, then up to 32-bit, then 64-bit, and then that led into what we have today.
Yeah, now you have like video games like Apex Legends, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, where great graphics. They still look a little bit cartoony, but they'll get there eventually.
Excuse the rattle there. My dog is trying to steal a dog treat out of her bag of dog treats. So I'm giving her a dog treat so she gets out of the bag. And my microphone is slipping. So hopefully that'll fix it. Go ahead.
All right, so the simulation theory would actually support that simulation glitches actually do occur. So if you look at paranormal activity, they could actually be glitches in the matrix that are causing 2 universes to collide, that are parallel simulations to collide, and that's actually what's causing the paranormal interference.
So basically you're saying ghosts are actually people in another universe's simulation?
Well, if we're all code, actually, everything's like one continuous thing, so like something from the past could replay in the present if there's a glitch that caused that to happen.
I'm trying to follow you on that one. So you're saying that ghost is simply an error in computer code that has, or a video, I guess it'd be a video, that is just replaying in very poor quality?
Well, like if you look at like video games, there's glitches in the games all the time where like if you look at Call of Duty, for example, like they would have like moments where like you'd be playing one map and there sometimes like another part of a different map would glitch into that map.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is ghosts are never high quality. So I'm saying it's a poor quality glitch.
Yeah, it's a poor quality glitch because we're in like a really good simulation.
So what you're saying is we're 4K and they're 480, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Or it could just like especially like the audio, like that could easily just be like an audio glitch just going on when like people actually record like paranormal.
Yeah, but it's not audible in to your ears. I mean, so it's
Yeah, it's not audible to your ears. That's why you catch it on a different device.
well. See, I would have said that it would have been that device glitching and not really a real sound. It's actually a glitch on the device,
Well, let's just
which we could actually catch. Maybe we have some glitchy programs in here since we're recording this also on a Tascam DR40 digital recorder. So maybe we'll hear some ghost noises.
maybe we could actually start a ghost hunting podcast.
Yeah, maybe that'll be what happens. So maybe we'll glitch and have some sort of sound effect that makes it in, or a sound artifact that makes it into the digital recording.
Yeah, well, besides the point, so you would think that like if a simulation glitch actually did occur, we would definitely notice it, right?
I don't know if I would.
Well, like if it's like a major glitch, like say like you walk outside and like
The grass is purple.
the grass is purple, or like a house is like floating in the sky or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, would I call that a glitch or would I call that the apocalypse? I don't know.
Well, since we're in a really good simulation, as it seems, if we're actually in a simulation, what they would actually do most likely would all they'd have to do is be able to fix the glitch and then rewind us back to the point before the glitch happened, and then nobody would have a memory of that glitch occurring.
So what you're saying is they could. It's kind of like watching television nowadays, where you can rewind the last 30 seconds of a ball game or 30.
Yeah,
30 minutes of a ball
basically
game.
something like that.
So not only are we in this simulation, but we're being DVR'd.
Yeah, basically. So like if anything goes wrong, they could go and fix it and then rewind us to the point where no one would remember the glitch actually occurring.
All right, real life with instant replay. That's what.
Yeah, basically. We know all about that with the NCAA.
Okay, keep going. I'm not convinced, but keep going.
And then like you know about deja vu. I'm pretty sure everyone listening knows about deja vu.
Well, most of the time it's where you feel like you've done the thing before.
That's like another example of a glitch occurring. So this would mean that the person's actually experiencing these events multiple times due to a system error that's making the simulation replay a certain event in that person's code.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think a lot of times we have deja vu because we dream of something that actually comes true. I think that's what it is. So what would you consider the dream?
Well, the dream could just be that replaying in their head because it's part of the system error.
So
like they're actually taking the person back, so they thought they dreamt that.
So let me ask you this question. Or could it be that the dreams are test runs of what the programmers are wanting the next scene to be?
Yeah, that's possible too. Like, if we're in a simulation, basically everything's already planned out for us, in a way. So, it could just be. I don't know where to go from that.
What do you mean you don't know where to go? It's your topic.
I mean, I don't know where to go with that. I mean,
did I stump you with a question?
I don't even know what the question was.
Oh my god. Okay, basically the question was, we dream, and normally I feel deja vu is something that I've dreamt and then it's come true at a later date.
Yeah.
Right?
I
I
didn't get a question. Like I didn't get.
So I asked the question. The question was this: is the dream a dry run for the next scene in that person's life?
It might be.
And guys, keep in mind, we don't edit our podcast and cut things out, so this is actually what's going to be played. So you'll know that we're really going at this, and if we flub up, we flub up. If we stump each other, we stump each other. I mean,
like I just don't know where to go with that one.
I mean,
I never thought of it being like as a dry run for the next moment in person's life.
Well, I mean, people that are doing a movie or television show, they have rehearsals. Even if you get married, you have a rehearsal dinner. You rehearse eating.
Yeah.
So I mean, just makes sense to me. If
I guess it could prepare the person for what's to come.
Well, it's just to make sure. You got to look at it this way. So you're saying we're in a simulation, so somebody's programming all this.
Yep.
Whether it's aliens or
ancestors
or whatever is programming this reality or the simulation. Maybe they're trying out new code, right? Maybe this is something like, ooh, it'd be cool if so and so, if person number 12,568 walked down the street and saw this woman. Let's see how that would play out before we actually make it play out. You see what I'm saying? I run, I write code all the time at work, and I have multiple runs until it's right, and I'm testing, I'm checking things out, I'm decoding, I'm debugging, I'm doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, what is to say that when you're dreaming in the simulation world, it's not just them debugging out the next scene?
Yeah, that does actually make a lot of sense.
I mean, it's your theory.
It does make a lot of sense.
That we're in a simulation. I'm just asking the question.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense, though. I just never thought of it that way. I don't think I've ever heard anyone think of it that way.
Well, have you had, how many people have you discussed simulation theory with?
A lot.
Well, most people aren't as deep as me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's just something that, like, of all the people I've talked to, I've never heard them refer to as like a dry run to like debug what's about to occur in a person's
Well, if you're
life.
telling me it's a simulation and and it's computer-based simulation, that's what you said at the very beginning, right?
Yep.
Then there's got to be code running on there. And because there's code running on there, they have to run debuggers and all that kind of stuff to make sure that, what happens works fine. I mean, that's just, the way programming works. So in a lot of places, they have, where I work, we have 3 levels of systems that we can run programming tests on, right? You have what we call development, which is where the code is initially created, and it's in an environment that's not really there for a production system. Then we have what we call quality, which has some production aspects to it. And then we have production. It's got to pass development and quality before it makes it into production. And during that process and development and quality, they're doing test runs to make sure there's no bugs in the software. So, I mean, you can kind of look at, when you're dreaming, that you're kind of in the quality part of it. They've already wrote the code and developed it, using a simulation of the person they're wanting to put the code in for. Then they bring it into quality, and the dream is testing that. And then when they bring it into the real world, it's full production.
Yeah, that actually needs to be brought up a lot more in people that talk about the simulation theory, because that makes so much sense.
I'm saying, when you deal with software programming, you
like you blew my mind.
It's your theory, though.
Yeah, it is my theory, but like, you're backing me up.
No, I'm just asking the question. My overall question was, is dreams basically a dry run or a debug of the program to come in the future, and that's what causes deja vu?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So basically what's happening is the programmer forgets to clear out the cache so your mind doesn't get rid of all the information. So just like if you go to the internet browser or whatever, you clear your browser cache. That way, nobody can track your sites that you've been visiting. And if you forget to do that, someone could log in and actually see
what you were viewing,
what you were looking at.
You made a really good point.
I didn't mean to make a good point. I just asked a question.
You asked a question that stumped me, and
I'm
then
sorry
you
if
were just,
that question was over your head.
Thing. It was, because like I didn't get what you were saying at first. I was like, "What do you mean a dry run? Like just to like prepare them?"
Orange, vanilla, Coke Zero.
We're not sponsored by that.
We're not sponsored by that, but it does taste like a dreamsicle.
Oh, that's always nice. But like,
you know what a dreamsicle is?
What?
It's that little like frozen treat you get that's vanilla and orange. The dreamsicle. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so back to like computer coding. Our universe can actually be broken down with mathematics. Therefore, it's possible to break down the equations that actually explain our universe. And when you break those equations down, like the laws of nature, the laws of physics, and stuff like that, it's actually the same computer coding that we use in computers today.
Well,
like
I mean,
in web browsers and stuff like that.
Well, it makes sense. If we are in a simulation, you would think that, we would have computer programs that's based off the same logic.
Exactly. And like, if you like look at it, the speed of light is the fastest thing that can go in our universe, right?
Well, it's not this. I mean, it's not the universe. I mean, it's the entire spectrum of space.
Yeah, like the theory behind it is that's actually would be the processor speed for our universe.
Well, how do you know it's just one processor?
Well, we don't know that.
What if it's like an Intel i15 million chip and it's running, a trillion core processor?
Well,
or maybe it's just one gigantic server farm. That's what it is.
Well, that like supports the theory that there's like multiple universes out there. So basically, there'd be multiple simulated worlds, and they would all have different constraints.
No, see, once again, you're back into your test environments. That's what it is.
What do you mean by my test environments?
Yeah, so you got multiple worlds, right?
Yeah.
Each world they're testing different software out on to figure out. So they got one main world. Let's say it's our world.
Yeah, like our world. So like, what's our biggest problem we deal with? Like, what is our biggest concern as a global?
Donald Trump?
No, not Donald Trump. Like, what's our biggest problem globally?
You sure it's not Donald Trump?
It's not Donald Trump. I mean, a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but that's not the biggest problem.
North Korea?
No, global warming.
I don't think global warming's a problem, but,
Well, that's what they always are talking about and stressing about in this world.
That's not what they're stressing about. That's not what everybody's talking about and stressing about in this world. That's what politicians are talking about.
Exactly, like, because the politicians are actually...
smoke screen.
The politicians are actually more intelligent. They're behind the scenes to make us think what we want.
Those are aliens.
I don't.
And lizard people.
That's not how it goes.
and the New World Order. Anyway, what were you saying? I'm still thinking it's aliens.
I mean, I was saying that, like, globally, like, we worry about global warming. So say we were in, like, a simulation that was made by our ancestors. They probably destroyed the world just like we were. So they're trying to figure out different solutions to fix it or make it not happen.
So, well, I mean, in the Matrix, it's kind of what it was. It was a world that was being run by machines, right?
Yep.
And the machines put all the humans in these you know, I guess sleep states, and that way they can harness their energy and run the machines based off of human energy. And in the meantime, to keep them satisfied, they created these worlds for them to live out. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Okay. So once again, you're saying we're living in the Matrix.
Yep, living in the Matrix.
And I'm Neo.
And this is a really fascinating one that I don't think you know about at all.
I guarantee I can come up with something.
I know you'll come up with something. That's just how you are. So, in 2017,
2 years ago,
researchers at the University of Washington actually discovered that they could embed malicious computer viruses in strands of human DNA.
I mean, maybe that's possible. Sorry about that. That was my little dog. She heard a noise, and it bugs her when she hears noises. There she was again. Hold on, let me get to the little doggy. Little doggy, get over here. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes we have to deal with animals. I mean, I don't know why they would want to do that, but technically our DNA structures, just electrical energy. I mean, I guess you could put a computer virus in there. What kind of virus did they put in there?
I don't know, just some malicious virus.
I mean, all I would do is just install Nortons or something like that in my DNA and keep it from happening.
Yeah, make sure your
The only
body
bad
doesn't
part
get any
is
viruses.
the only bad part is I'm not currently always connected to the internet, so it wouldn't do
Yeah,
the updates regularly.
Not yet. You're not always connected to the internet.
I mean, it wouldn't do updates regularly. I know that much. I mean, I'd hate to see where I'd have to plug the USB drive to do the update. That'd be pretty bad.
That would be pretty bad.
I mean, because last time I checked, I didn't have a USB 3 port on me.
You might need to get one added on.
Yeah, I may have to get an expansion card. Yeah, we kind of get off track a little bit sometimes. But, that's what happens when I'm confronted with something, like that, where they're trying to put computer viruses in our DNA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what made them want to put computer viruses in human DNA, but they did it.
All right, what else you got? Come on.
All right,
come on.
so the simulation theory could actually be referred to in the Bible as well.
Okay, humor me on this one.
All right, so the 7 days of creation would actually have been just our God or gods, which would be our creators.
Aliens.
Our creators. I mean, it could be aliens. I don't know who's behind the simulation. There are gods.
It's aliens.
I mean, that would explain why Egyptians always talked about aliens as being gods.
All right, we now have a baby crying in the background, so if you hear that, that's my granddaughter. She's apparently not happy. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going through the baby cry. So Jonathan's talking about the Bible here and the computer programming in the Bible.
All right, so it'd be 7 days of our gods programming our simulation. And that would explain why, one day they worked on the lighting for our world.
Well, I got to disagree with you there.
Why?
I know a lot of programmers. And for them to...
But they're an advanced civilization, so they probably just push a button and it already puts that code in.
I'm telling you right now, I know programmers, and they will debug and debug and debug and send it through testing 1, testing 2, testing 3, testing 4 before it makes it to production. So, maybe it took them 7 days to create us because they kept debugging. I don't know. But I think 7 days is definitely not a long enough time. Most programmers, it takes them, a month just to write up the story or of what they're trying to do. So, but I mean, you could say, I could see where your point is.
And then another reference in the Bible is that mankind actually has a destiny beyond reality. And that would support like the theory that there's multiple simulations out there and they're all testing a certain aspect that they want researched.
Do you remember the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, I do.
You remember at the end they recreated the Earth
Yep.
because they basically have a backup copy. Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is kind of cool because we can relate all this stuff back to movies.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. And then another one that supports it is actually where the Bible actually talks about him creating the heaven and the earth. So there's the heavens, which is going to be above us, so it'd be the people actually spectating what's going on, and we just don't realize that until we actually die and go back there, or we just disappear.
We get uninstalled.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's what it is. We just get uninstalled.
Well, technically we don't, because in the simulation theory, if it's a simulation, we still exist somewhere in the timeline of the simulation. So we're still going to be there. We just won't realize it.
I say we get uninstalled. That's what I think. I think we just get uninstalled. Okay, so I'm following along with you so far. I mean, it's still kind of a far-fetched theory for me, but what do you got next?
I actually don't have anything else.
All right, well that's good because I got some more questions to stump you.
Well, I have stuff, but like I'm not even gonna bring it up
Why not?
because I don't want to. Because all you do is just keep on saying it's far fetched, so I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Well, no, I think it's far-fetched just for the fact that I think
I mean, it's impossible to prove that we're not in one.
it's impossible to prove we're not in one, but it's also
It's also 99% likely that we will be in one if we're not already in one.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I know how software works, and I know that it crashes. I know software, can break. I know you get updates regularly. When you get those updates, the updates are, causes problems. I'm fighting one at work now with Office. So I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, but if it's true that we're in this program, the simulation, why haven't we seen crashes and bugs more, out there? Do you have examples of anything that you
I mean, I already went over that. If anything happened, they would just rewind to where we wouldn't remember it.
Roll back to where we wouldn't, they'd fix it and roll back.
And then no one have a memory of anything actually occurring.
Well, I guess that's possible. I guess that is possible.
Like, you just ask the questions and I'll have something to back it up.
I guess that's possible. I mean, so let's take this to a different direction, though. And let's bring this into context of our first episode of the Conspiracy Madness podcast series.
It would actually explain why the Mandela Effect happens.
That's what I was getting ready to say. So, in our first episode, we covered the Mandela Effect. And if you're not familiar with what it is, it's where, people remember an event happening one way, but in reality, it happened a different way. Or at least in this reality, it happened a different way. So, if what Jonathan is saying is true and we're in this matrix, then those would be the glitches that would occur due to software errors or the programmers going back and changing something because the outcome of an event they didn't like and they wanted to redo it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I can understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that I still find it far-fetched that there's not more evidence out there that we'd be in a simulation right now.
So what other questions do you have though?
Well, basically, how come I can't hack it?
You actually can hack it.
Okay, how do you hack it?
By going into the realm and escaping out of your body like an out-of-body experience.
That ain't the kind of hacking I'm talking about.
Well, you can't hack it because you can't access the code.
I want to be able to hack it and make myself win the lottery.
I mean, that's more of a law of attraction thing, not a simulation.
No, if you know, okay, good example. Back in the old gaming days of when I was playing Nintendo 64, all those wonderful gaming systems, right? I used to have cheat codes where I would, up, down, left, right, A, B, start, and King Griffey Jr. would get on there and hit a home run every time he swung the bat, right? Why can't I do that now?
Because you don't have access to any of the code that's supporting it.
I didn't have access to the code that was supporting.
Yeah, but you had an input controller where there's already
I
something
want an
in
input controller, Jonathan.
In the coding, there was already the hacks in the code for the game.
I want to be able to. I want to plug into a port. I want to plug into the internet, whatever, and I want to make myself a millionaire.
Well, good luck with that because you don't have access to anything to make that possible.
Well, then this is a sucky program.
Or a really good one where they're preventing hacking.
Huh.
There are videos on YouTube that teach you how to hack reality. I don't know if it works or not, though.
So here's the next question. What's the user license in this simulation? Is it a subscription based? Is somebody having to pay a subscription to have this simulation running?
Not sure.
Is it running on a Windows server?
Doubtful.
I mean, anything's possible, right? I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Anything's possible. But it just seems like to me that, in my opinion, that there'd be more signs that we were in a simulation. Even if they could rewind our minds.
What would make you believe you're in a simulation?
I walked outside and the grass was purple. And not because Josh spray painted it. I mean, what's your thought? What is your true belief?
I mean, I feel like we're in a simulation just because nothing ever makes sense.
Well, everything makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Like, life doesn't make sense. Like, how is just everything just like purposely just placed for us to live? Like, the sun's a perfect distance away.
Well, that's natural selection there, son.
No, it was obviously placed there on purpose.
Well, no, I mean, okay, it depends on your thoughts, okay? So, you're either on the side of religion or you're on the side of science, okay? In religion, especially Christianity, the God created Earth and created the people on it, so he was smart enough to make sure that Earth was at the correct location to where life could be sustainable, okay?
And that's the same thing our programmer would do with computer code, and it makes sense since there's actually coding found everywhere.
Now, science, on the other hand, science basically says the reason why there's life on Earth is because of the location of the sun and where the Earth is in the universe. In other words, we were the perfect storm to have life on a planet. Okay, that's science.
Yeah, that's science.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about life doesn't make sense. It depends on which side of the equation you look at. If you're looking at science, it makes sense why we're here because this planet was able to have life. Now, the overall question you need to ask yourself is, okay, that's fine and wonderful, but how did intelligent beings like humans learn to exist, right? That's the part that's the question part. Not how life is, how Earth is here for life to be, but who says it had to be humans? I mean, who said it had to be a dog or a cat or a monkey or whatever, right?
It's because everything was programmed.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that that's the question. It's not, the question is not about how is the sun where it is. I mean, that's because this planet was set up for life. But now the question is, who, where did?
Okay, so this is like a really good one. So, how is just mathematics just universal? Like, there's different language. Everyone speaks different languages, writes in different languages, but math is universal. It's the only thing that involves numbers, which is the same thing that's in computer coding. Ones and zeros.
I follow what you're saying, but I disagree that, I think everybody, whether whatever language you speak or not, most of the time you got the same words in every language, you just say it different. Just like the word hello in Spanish is hola, right? So, I mean, you still have the same words. That's how you can translate the different languages. I mean, from a mathematical standpoint, the theories are all the same, no matter what side of the world you're on. Except, if you're in like Australia, the toilet flushes the opposite direction than it does in the United States. So, so I'm not arguing the fact that we could be in a simulation. I'll give you that one. What I'm just saying is, I mean, it's like anything else.
The thing is, if we are in a simulation, why would they give us any signs that we are?
I'm just saying, from your theory, is we glitch.
Yeah, and then like, if we're coding, all they have to do is poof, it's gone out of our memories.
Well, normally they have to go to a backup and start over from a restore point. The same thing.
Basically rewinding us.
Yeah, restore point. No, I understand. And then they fix the code and they rerun everything, or maybe like what I've had to do in the past is reinstall Windows from scratch. Get rid of all the stuff that's sitting out there that could be slowing the computer down. So, I'm not arguing with you. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm a little skeptical that we're currently in a simulation. If we are, like I said, I want to be able to hack it and become a millionaire, which I don't think is too much to ask for.
No,
I really don't. So, you got anything else?
not really.
Well, I mean, I actually enjoyed this topic. Actually, this is, we were able to tie it back into the Mandela Effect because, the Mandela Effect is where things change, and there are, you go through it and there's residue out there that says that something has changed from what it previously was. I don't care what they say, you can find examples that show the way you remember it was correct,
Yep.
Which I think is a glitch in the programming, that they went back and programmed everything. And as a good example, I mean, you can go in and write the best code in the world, but if you go in and just change a part of it to fix something, and say you're changing the word dog to cat, and you've got a 5,000 line program, there's a good chance you may miss a couple, references of dog that you forgot to change to cat.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I follow along completely. I have the programming background. So, what you're saying makes sense, and how the Mandela Effect would fit into, your theory.
Yeah, or we could just be actually us, just like Futurama, just like living in a virtual world because we destroyed it. And that's the only way we could actually experience life again.
We did the stupid thing, and really, this is the year 3030, and we created robots that became too intelligent, took over, and enslaved us, and put us in so they could use us as power.
Oh, kind of like in Rick and Morty episode where he had that entire universe powering his car battery. and then his car battery quit working, and so he went back in and realized that they made their own power source in a different, smaller universe.
That's right. Uh-huh. That's right. So I get it. I mean, from a programming standpoint, I see it. But, you know, what can we do? If we are in a simulation, we'll never know.
I mean, some people say that it's probably better that we would be in a simulation because, like, if we're in a simulation, we're most likely not going to get hit by, like, any, like, asteroid or something like that.
Well, but we've got to be located somewhere.
Yeah, we're just in our own, like, tiny, like, multiverse, as Rick would say.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, like I said, what you're saying, you know, has research behind it that says it's a possibility. It's a possibility. You know? I can agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else?
Not really.
All right, well, then that's going to end the third episode of the Conspiracy Madness. And what was the topic again, Jonathan?
The simulation theory.
That's right. So, make sure you check us out and check out the other episodes of the Conspiracy Madness podcast, as well as Technology Madness podcast. And don't forget to check out our website, madnesspodcastnetwork.com. Check us out on Twitter at MPN_shows, Facebook page, MPN shows. And don't forget, my name is Chris.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.